So how did you really want to become a trainer as well?
No, it took me, I said no to training for years and years and years and years and years, even though I think once you've done a facilitated workshop, you have the chops to train, or a few of them, right?
Right.
But yeah, it was when Jerry passed away and we were talking about filling the agile gap that he left behind as he wasn't with us anymore. And I said, all right, I'll train. And at the end of the conversation we had, Steve McConnell looked at me and said, I was serious. And I looked at him and I said, I was too. And I finally did it. And, it's nice. I mean, you guys didn't kick me out of the nest. I got to co-train. Melvin and I taught a class together, and I taught 2 or 3 sections in that class. And I have to say, my first outing in training, I do not remember anything out of that hour and a half. It was just all kind of a stress blur. But after kind of getting over the learning curve, I have to say I actually fell in love with training and really, really came to enjoy it. So, I think sometimes you need to kind of jump out of the safe little nest and spread your wings and fly and try something. And you might just find that not only is it not as bad as you thought, but it's way better than you thought it could be.
Well, I think we stepped you into it too, right? In the sense that for a long time, our astute listeners will remember that we did public training classes that had a mix of clients. And then we had the private sessions where we would do something specific to that organization. And there were pluses and minuses to both. But I think being immersed in the public sessions, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but you got to see a swath of different needs in a training thing. So in the sense, when you're on site with a private environment, most of the people are on the same direction or tend to be under the same direction. And when you're public, you have many different pieces of that you have to manage in the classroom. Our company does it this way, our company does it that way. So I think in some respects, the public might have been more difficult for you to jump in. Would you feel that's true?
Yeah, I mean, one of my big concerns was, can I successfully answer the questions that are likely to come at me? So step one, when we said, okay, Jenny trains, step one was actually sit through 1 or 2 other people doing training, A, to see how they trained, but B, I also just listened to all the questions. And I thought, can I answer this question in a way that is reasonable, right? And obviously, every once in a while, you're going to get I don't know, I'm going to need to look into that and get back to you. But if you can answer most of the questions in a reasonable manner, then I think you're pretty good. So that was probably my biggest first hurdle. And Mark, I think to your point, Publix gives you a broader spread more quickly because you get a more diverse set of companies coming in and probably a broader spread of concerns in one public that would take you multiple privates to kind of understand.
So playing 4 ping pong games simultaneously versus 1.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Earl, I came with you and observed you teach as part of that transition.
And you didn't run away scared. Okay.
I did not run away scared. I did come away saying, I don't think I can teach like Earl can teach. Earl with your workbooks and your I did the slide route, but at least I did the slide route. I went into one company, and after I was done with the training, I had multiple people come up to me and say, "This training was so good. The last person that was here just read the slides to us."
I know.
Right. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Ugh.
People often were shocked that we wouldn't read the slide. We would actually engage them and talk to them, and it's like, oh. I stayed awake.
So
yeah,
Jenny,
that was my favorite part of training, was watching a light bulb or 3 or 10 come on as you talked through
affirmation.
Right? Here's the practices, and here's what you can change, and here's your list of things you can change, and actually having people walk out the door with specific things they could do that would make their life better. I think that because of when we were talking about consulting, right? You did an assessment or you did a workshop and you didn't necessarily, you could generally feel whether people would have uptake or not, especially out of the workshops. But I think with training, I often just had the sense that, okay, people are going to take these and they are going to implement these. Within 3 weeks, they are going to have changes that they're specifically going to make based on the conversation we had today. And that's a really nice feeling.
Would you say you had a particular